It's the 7th of September 2016. Welcome to episode 13 of RapBabble, the weekly hip-hop podcast. And this week, a big figure in hip-hop has died. A big figure in the history of hip-hop, without whom many acts wouldn't be who they are today. Although he's not a loved character in hip-hop. I'm talking about Jerry Heller, who is I don't know what role he played. He was kind of a manager of Ruthless Records for Eazy-E and NWA. So, and by the way, Straight Outta Compton, the film, explained a lot of this. And after I watched that, I looked up a lot of history. And it's fascinating, so it's worth watching. But the story goes that they had a rap group and they had an album, or they had songs, and they wanted to take it further. They wanted to make a label themselves, since they couldn't get anywhere by themselves. And that's where Jerry Heller comes into the picture. And this guy has experience in the music industry, and he passes their CD on. He believes in it, firstly. And, you know, he says, like, this is it. This is the future. This is amazing. This is worth listening to. This I need to push. So he gets it. And he's like middle-aged white Jewish man. But he finds Eazy-E and listens to this song and loves NWA. There was an introduction that Eazy got from someone else, so he kind of sought Jerry Heller. And then, I'm kind of giving away parts of the film here, but yeah. It's history as well as a film. But yeah, there's not much more to the story than that. So once he gets a copy of the album and loves it, he goes to his contacts and gets them a record deal. And then after that, he stays on with the label, and he runs things. Like, the rest of them have no musical experience whatsoever, so he handles everything behind the scenes. But then in the end, money gets in the way. You know, him and Eazy allegedly kept all the money. Ice Cube left, Dr. Dre left over pay. They weren't getting paid and they weren't happy. I mean, it sounds like the two of them were dividing the money and keeping it. And Jerry Heller couldn't keep it all because, you know, Eazy was the financier of Ruthless Records, and he was the owner on paper. So he kind of had to cut him in on the deal. But it looks to me like both of them split up the money. So then I was a bit unsure, like, is he evil? I've thought of him as evil for a long time. But now that he's died, I'm rethinking that, because he's not actually that different to any other executive. He's no different. There is one slight difference in that if it was his record label, I probably wouldn't hate him at all, because that's kind of standard practice in the industry. They take artists and then they ring them for money. But this wasn't his label. This was their label. So, and, you know, having different skin color kind of makes it a bit more, makes the contrast a lot sharper, makes it easier to focus anger, because, I mean, Eazy, A, he's black, and B, he's dead. So even though they both committed exactly the same crime, it's hard to be angry at Eazy, and it's easy to be angry at Jerry. But now I'm rethinking that. They're both guilty of the same crime. They both stole money from the group. And everyone got rich in the end anyway. And Jerry Heller's gone now, so I guess there's no need to hate. And Eazy-E's daughter also came out and said he's like a grandfather to us. He's, you know, she was supporting him. So she doesn't have any animosity to him. Maybe he looks good from their point of view. I guess he does look good from their point of view, because he was helping Eazy's family. But on the other side, you have all the other artists on NWA. Oh, some of you might not know who NWA is. I kind of jumped into that without telling anything else, just kind of assuming you knew because, well, I'm from that era. So, although I didn't hear it until much after. But, yeah, they were a seminal rap group from the 80s with Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, Eazy-E, who was the drug dealer, financier, and then later rapper. And they had a record label, Ruthless Records, and go watch Straight Outta Compton. It will tell you everything you need to know. But Jerry Heller has died. And he died at an old age. He's in his mid-70s. So he got to the end of his life. Anyway, let's leave that story there. And let's move on to the next story, which is, if I can remember. Oh, well, there's Drake's video Child's Play. That's come out. He's going to put out a visual album. I'm not clear what they mean. I don't think he's going to put out new music. I think he might put out visuals to views, or it's not clear. But a video came out for Child's Play, which had Tyra Banks in it. That was great. I watched it, and it was kind of, it was I mean, I liked that there was a story there. So the story of the song Child's Play from the album Views, which is Drake's newest album. He's rapping about a girl who he fights with in Cheesecake, which is a restaurant that I assume sells cheesecake. And she makes a scene, and he's not happy about it. And he's saying that she's childish. And so they had Tyra Banks playing the girl. And they actually acted out. They had a scene. So you don't get that in hip-hop much. That's one reason why it stuck out. I mean, Drake's an ex-actor. And so that helped too. And Tyra Banks, I didn't even recognize her at first. Like, it kind of looked like her, but I just assumed, I didn't think it would be her. But and she got irate and threw some cheesecake in his face. And like, the first part of the story was good. It worked. It fit the lyrics. Then the second half was him in the strip club, and the image that sticks out is the part where he's sitting on the stage on a chair, and he has all the girls, all the strippers, just sitting around him. And that's kind of it. Like, it was a pointless second half to the video, and it wasn't even fun. I mean, it was a song about a childish girl. The beat was fast enough to match that location, but it didn't fit. Like, if you're going to have a strip joint song, do it properly. If you're going to tell the story, do it. Don't do the halfway. Ugh. Not happy about that. But it was an entertaining video, and it was memorable as well. I measure things now by how memorable they are, and that song and the song as well is actually good. It's one of my preferred songs on the album. That song and the video is memorable. And the final story is pandas are no longer on the endangered species list because their numbers have increased. And what's this got to do with hip-hop? Well, because Desiigner had a song called Panda, and I'm not sure how much they're connected, but they did the WWF. They work for conserving species, and they gave Desiigner a shout out, possibly because of the song, or possibly because of the tweets that he's been retweeting. He's been posting their tweets on his page. So yeah, I don't know which of the two, whether it's the song or whether it's the retweeting, but either way, he's contributing, and they gave him a shout out. So there's a slight connection there, and it's good to hear that pandas are, for the time being, off the endangered species list. They got to over 2,000 in number, and so their population has risen enough. So they're mating more, but it could go back at any time. But it's good news that they're off. And that's all the news we have for you this week. We'll be back next week. If you want to be a host as well, email me at rapbabble@gmail.com, and also subscribe to us on SoundCloud, YouTube, Facebook, or the last one escapes me, but I say it every week. And we have a .com and an RSS feed, so you can go to those as well. See you next week. Bye.